What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. Earlier today, I uploaded my 2021 Conference Championship game predictions, and today, I should say later today, now I'm going to be uploading for you guys my 2021-2022 College Football Playoff and New Year's Six Bowl game predictions. So if you guys find yourself coming back to my channel, this is the first time you guys are here. Again, I'm no college football expert. I know I'm going to get some stuff wrong, just how it is, but I try to provide the most accurate information possible. So if you like what you see from me, you want to hear my thoughts and opinions on what goes down during this season, please hit that subscribe button down below. You can also ring the bell so you know when I upload. Uploads will get more consistent. And by that, I mean same day every week. I'll try to get that figured out as soon as possible. But other ways you guys can support the channel: leave a like, share the videos as well. Helps push out to people who might normally not be able to see my content. And you can leave a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on this video, your thoughts on the season. Guys, week 0 is just a couple of days away. You guys should be as excited as I am. So without further ado, though, we're going to go ahead and get into my college football playoff predictions. Now, I am basing this off of my preview prediction series that I did this offseason, where I looked at teams and predicted their records, and then my college football conference championship predictions, which, again, I just uploaded earlier today. That is what I'm basing these off of. It's not entirely what I'm basing it off of, but again, it gives a good general idea of where my thinking is. And well, guys, if you've been a supporter of the channel over the past 3 months, it should come as no surprise to you that these are the 4 teams that I have competing in the college football playoff. Number 1 I have is Alabama. Number 2 I have is Oklahoma. 3 I have is Clemson. And 4 I have as Ohio State. I have all 4 of these teams running the table, going 13-0, winning their respective conferences. And they should, all 4 of these teams, get into the college football playoff. Now, of course, these 4 are the usual suspects. And again, until someone else can prove us otherwise, you should be able to pick these 4 teams pretty confidently to win their respective conferences year after year after year. Now, of course, I know LSU had that amazing run in 2019, but again, Alabama just got right back to doing Alabama things last year. They were really good last year. I think they're going to be really good again this year. Same thing with Oklahoma. Again, they had kind of a struggle fest last year, but overall for Oklahoma, it should still be a really, really good season for them this year. They're on a mission. They look really good this offseason. You have to get really nitpicky to find a flaw with Oklahoma this year. And then Clemson, of course, the team in the ACC that has won, 6-7 straight ACC titles, make it 7-8 this year. I don't see Clemson being stopped. They do have that tricky game against Georgia start of the season. We'll see how that fares. And then Ohio State at 4. Again, they have some hard games as well, going on the road to play Minnesota in week 1. Again, on a Thursday as well, then coming back home playing Oregon. You got a couple of tough games in the Big Ten with Indiana and Penn State. And then whoever happens to come out of the West, whether that be Minnesota again, Wisconsin, that's what I'm predicting, Iowa, Northwestern. Ohio State's going to have a tough path to the playoff, but I think all 4 of these teams, if they can run the table and everything goes right for them, easily, these are the 4 teams that get into the college football playoff. And you might be saying, well, what about Georgia? They're going to be really good this year. My thing with Georgia is we've been saying Georgia's going to be really good for a lot of years, and not denying that Georgia's been good in the past couple of years. It's just that they haven't quite gotten there yet, right? They haven't been able to get past Alabama, or in 2019's case, it was LSU, right? They got there in 2018, and it looked like they were going to win a national title, but again, ultimately fell behind, gave up that lead to who else? The Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama ended up winning that game in overtime. Of course, we all know the pass that Tua threw made him a campus legend for sure. But all 4 of these teams, I definitely have as the front runners. The 5th team out, the first team out has to be Georgia. And if Georgia is going to come in, beat Alabama in the SEC championship game, it likely knocks one of these teams out. But again, that's going to be hard to do when all these teams, in my opinion, are going to run the table in the regular season. All 4 of these teams up here, I do have going 13-0, winning their conference and getting into the college football playoffs. So again, my New Year's 6 game predictions are going to be based off of who I have making the playoffs. So of course, because these 4 teams are making the playoff, they obviously can't be in a New Year's 6 bowl spot. So the first New Year's 6 bowl we're going to look at is the Sugar Bowl. And I think this one is really obvious. If those 4 teams end up making the playoff, and everything else seems to go the way of the majority of what people think, this should be your matchup in the All-State Sugar Bowl. The Georgia Bulldogs facing the Iowa State Cyclones. And this should be a phenomenal game if it ends up getting played. Again, Georgia just coming up short again in the SEC championship game, winding up in the New Year's Six Bowl spot. Hey, again, not a bad place to be if you are a Bulldogs fan. There's a lot of talent on this team with JT Daniels. The wide receiver group is going to be fantastic this year, and they might even get George Pickens back for this game if he decides to play it, right? Again, you're going to have players opting out of bowl games to go to the NFL, to prepare for the NFL, to not risk injury, things like that. But both of these teams, very, very good teams. Georgia, I think, is going to be really good this year, as is Iowa State. Definitely could be a huge threat to Oklahoma in the Big 12. And ultimately, I think if this game ends up getting played, my predicted winner is going to be Georgia. So I think Georgia will be the winner of the All-State Sugar Bowl in 2021. Again, just coming up short, like that close to making the college football playoff. But I don't know how happy Bulldog fans will be if they miss the playoff this year, especially with all the hype. But I think some Bulldog fans will be satisfied with a New Year's Six bowl game win. So Georgia beats the Cyclones in Iowa State in the All-State Sugar Bowl. All right, moving on here to the Rose Bowl game. These teams look familiar, anyone? Yeah, that's right, 2019. These were the exact teams that faced in 2019. I should mention this. The predicted records that you see on screen here are the predicted records based off of my preview prediction series, along with the college or the conference championship games that I just uploaded earlier today. But when you look at these two teams here, Oregon, in my opinion, is that front runner to win the Pac-12. Now, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Washington beat them out for the Pac-12 North, or maybe even a team like USC, Arizona State, Utah ends up beating them in the Pac-12 championship game. Again, there are a lot of spots where Oregon can fall on their schedule. They have a hard schedule, so I don't necessarily see them getting into the college football playoff. But I think Ducks fans will be pretty happy with an appearance to the Rose Bowl. I mean, it's the Rose Bowl. You can't you can't complain. And for Wisconsin, again, it starts with improved play from quarterback Graham Mertz. If they're going to want to be any sort of relevant in the college football playoff discussion, that has to happen. But Wisconsin should have one of the best defenses in the nation this year. Definitely should have the best defense in the Big Ten. If not then definitely top 3 in the Big Ten. But for this game here, I am going to go slight upset pick, and I'm going to go ahead and predict that the Wisconsin Badgers will beat the Oregon Ducks in the Rose Bowl game. I think Wisconsin's going to be just a little bit more battle tested, and overall I think has the talent, especially defensively, to beat Oregon. I think this game's going to be close, as we've seen or as we saw in 2019. I think the outcome is just a little different, and Wisconsin wins the game. So moving on here. So for these next two matchups, these are the matchups that I foresee, but I couldn't really decide whether or not which one's the Peach Bowl and which one's the Fiesta Bowl. Ultimately, I think this matchup right here with Texas A&M and Notre Dame will end up being the Peach Bowl, but I've seen it be the Fiesta Bowl elsewhere, and I definitely could see it being the Fiesta Bowl in my mind. Again, really just depends on the committee's decision. But Texas A&M going 10-2, I'm predicting. Same with Notre Dame. Both of these teams, in my opinion, deserving of that New Year's Six Bowl spot. And in my opinion, I think they will end up facing each other with Texas A&M coming out on top. There are some things that Notre Dame's got to work out this year. If these two teams face, I expect the line to be in favor of Texas A&M, who have just named Haynes King as their starting quarterback. Again, we'll see how he plays this year. Same thing with Jack Cohn at Notre Dame. Overall, though, these should still be two very good teams to come in to this season. Two teams that, again, probably won't be as good as they were last year. So two college football playoff hopefuls last year. Of course, Notre Dame made it in. Texas A&M was that first team out. Texas A&M should be able to get their revenge in whether it happens to be the Peach Bowl or the Fiesta Bowl here in 2021. I do have Texas A&M beating Notre Dame in a New Year's Six Bowl. And then the final New Year's Six Bowl game we're looking at here is Cincinnati and North Carolina. Yes, Cincinnati does get that group of 5 spot. It could have been Louisiana, but Cincinnati, of course, just has the resume with the games against Notre Dame and Indiana to get here to a New Year's Six spot. And of course, North Carolina being that team that just barely, again, missed out possibly on a playoff spot, couldn't beat Clemson in the ACC championship game. I think North Carolina fans, again, will be happy with the spot in the New Year's Six Bowl. Ultimately, I feel like Cincinnati wins this game. Now, I know that might be going off the board a little bit here, but I really am a believer in the Cincinnati Bearcats team. Yep, absolutely, I am. I know. I have Sam Howell winning the Heisman and everything like that. I think North Carolina is going to be a fantastic team. But I think if these two teams were to end up playing, I think Cincinnati's defense would do enough to shut down North Carolina's offense. And then, of course, Desmond Ridder, all the players that he has surrounding him on the offensive side, again, will be enough to get past the North Carolina defense and win the game. Again, I see this game being very close, but ultimately, those are my New Year's Six college football playoff predictions as of right now. All right, so again, guys, that is going to do it for my college football playoff and New Year's Six full game predictions. So again, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, share the videos, anything you can to help support the channel. Really does mean a lot to me. You can leave your personal New Year's Six full game predictions, college football playoff predictions in the comment section down below. Maybe some teams that you feel like should also deserve a spot in the New Year's Six bowl games. I know LSU will be a player. Indiana could be a player as well. Could two group of five teams get in? We'll see. Right. It's going to be a very interesting season. Guys, tomorrow what's going to happen is I'm going to be uploading my week 0 predictions. There are only 5 games happening August 28th on Saturday. I'm going to go through, preview and predict every single one of them. And then, guys, college football's back. We get to watch some football on Saturday. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? I hope you guys are excited. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder again tomorrow. Week 0 predictions. Goodbye.